Thank you, Mr. Gleason. All right, Mr. Fink, we'll start with you. You served as the head of the largest Class II railroad in the United States. Like all rail executives, you face safety challenges, and I imagine you learned a great deal. In your opening statement, you made a point of describing the Federal Railroad Administration's primary mission as safety first. How does your professional experience shape your perspective on rail safety, and what should the FRA be doing to improve the safety of the rail system?
Thank you for the question, Senator. In my career, I really wanted to work towards zero injuries and zero accidents, and that was a push when I was at Pan Am. Another thing I really wanted to work on was a cooperative and collaborative relationship. In that area, I worked very closely with all of our operating labor unions and would have 16 meetings per year in the field with my staff, meeting with the general chairman and local chairman and any people that had safety issues. When we first started doing that about 10 years ago, there was a lot of, I'll say, friction between the parties. We fixed a lot of the issues that were safety related, and as we came towards the merger with CSX, we were down to just a handful of issues. So working cooperatively and collaboratively was important. I also think it's important that as railroad management, we use tools that are available to us. So our railroad volunteered 2 times to do a safety culture assessment with the Short Line Safety Institute. We were one of the original pilot project people where the Safety Institute came in and looked to see if we had a safety culture, which when they came in 2015, they said we had a safety culture, it was a work in progress. We had another one in 2018. We still had work to do, but things that needed to be discussed and things that needed to be worked on is senior management engaged in safety and wants to see a safe workplace, and they found that we did. Are we giving people the tools they need to do their work? And we found that we did. We were one of the only railroads, I think, that's done 2 of these assessments, while some of the larger railroads haven't done any. So our business is very unforgiving. If something goes wrong, it can lead to a catastrophic injury or fatality. So every day we need to be out there stretching for 0 injuries and 0 accidents.
Thank you. Mr. Fogel, you have extensive experience in international business and trade. What are some of the non-tariff barriers to trade that limit our exports, and how do you plan to address them?
Sure. Thank you, Senator. This is something that's very eye-opening to me. I've been learning quite a bit about it. I think it would surprise some people to know that we're importing $3 billion of beef from Australia, at least last year, and we're exporting $0 of American beef to Australia. Same thing with
As a Texan, that pisses me off.
Of course. That's why I mentioned it. I started with beef. But Argentina, same problem. Because of a regulation that's in place in Argentina regarding mad cow's disease from 2002, we still can't export beef to Argentina. Cars to Japan, South Korea, Germany, we're not selling American cars there due to various import requirements. So these are more insidious. The non-tariff barriers are more insidious than tariffs. Tariffs are simple to understand, difficult to deal with, but I think non-tariff barriers are even more challenging. The professional team at Global Markets have years of experience dealing with this. I look forward to working with them to bring these barriers down under President Trump's leadership.
Thank you. Mr. Gettin, the Department of Commerce manages federal spectrum allocation through the National Telecommunications and Information Administration, NTIA. As General Counsel, you may be asked to advise on NTIA's legal authority to reallocate spectrum for commercial use. I'm hoping you can address the legal safeguards that are in place now to mitigate supposed national security risks due to reallocation. One key authority is the Commercial Spectrum Enhancement Act, which is 47 U.S.C. Section 928, which established a spectrum relocation fund to compensate agencies for relocating or upgrading systems for spectrum sharing. No federal user, including the Department of Defense, can be displaced without a fully funded, OMB-approved transition plan. Similarly, according to statute, DoD shall not surrender its frequencies unless and until NTIA identifies alternative bands with comparable technical characteristics. These alternative bands must be jointly certified by the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Mr. Gettin, do you agree that these legal requirements mitigate national security risks due to the reallocation of spectrum?
Thank you, Senator. Yes, I very much do agree. I think there's no question that the statutory protections for spectrum that is associated with national security are very robust and strong. And if I'm honored to be confirmed, I'll certainly focus on ensuring that those strictures are observed.
Great. Okay, final question, Mr. Gleason, for you. Amtrak has typically received between $1 billion and $3 billion annually in government subsidies. But the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act of 2021 provided up to $66 billion in additional funding. Needless to say, Congress wants to ensure that money is being well spent, especially now that certain projects like the Gateway Program and the Baltimore Tunnel have ballooned in costs. But just last week, an internal investigation by Amtrak's Officer of the Inspector General uncovered a $12 million healthcare fraud scheme involving 119 employees, the largest criminal conspiracy in Amtrak's history. Will you commit to vigilantly ensuring that Amtrak funds are used efficiently and in accordance with law?
Absolutely.
And do you also commit to ensuring that Amtrak executive compensation, benefits, and bonuses are appropriate and based on measurable metrics such as ridership, revenues, and safety?
I would have it no other way.
Thank you. Senator Peters.